Mic check, screen share check. We okay? Alrighty. And let's see, recording. All right. Good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital Nightly Strategy Podcast for October 12th, 2023. 30-minute hybrid swing portfolio to get started with, per usual. So yesterday's Alcoa Cata 2 speculation scratched. I let it fall the same risk box, collapsing dragon, because it's below this. Same risk, other direction. 1, 2, 3 exit. Exit at the edge of the dragon. So on 1 unit of risk, that's a 2R win. I wish they were all just like that. That's the one I like. Favorite trade. The Cata 2 is my second favorite entry. I mean, my first favorite entry, or third favorite, is the SSC, because a lot of times they'll do that. My second favorite entry is the Cata 2 because of this, and that's a Cata 2. But when that fails, it gives me my favorite entry, which is the collapsing dragon, which is below that. And this was such an orderly trade. I just love it. Perfect demonstration of every trade in the foundations course. I should make a note to self to include that. AI. Collapsing dragon short, 2R. Amazon covered the Cata 2 long at the edge of the dragon for about 2.5. Caterpillar. This was the this was a Cata 2. It failed, took a fractional loss when it collapsing dragoned. Standard risk short. Preserved 1R. At its maximum favorable, it was probably 3R. I was only able to preserve 1R. But, you know, there we are, heading west. Cliff. Collapsing dragon and a gap failure, and came all the way back to, just like it's supposed to, what goes up sometimes comes down, and this was about almost 2R with a standard dragon exit, left of R on the table. Hope I can do that all the time. Chevron, no trade. That is setting up for further collapse tomorrow. Disney took the collapsing dragon for a fraction, no failure. Dish took the Cata 2 for a 1. Devon Energy, Cata 2 for 1. Electronic Arts missed the gap and go. It's setting up for a possible Cata 2 tomorrow. So the trade I missed was getting long somewhere in here, and then exiting here. This is setting up for a Cata 2 tomorrow if this holds, and then a breakout here. That would be a Cata 2 entry. That would be a collapsing dragon short. So I'm ready for that one, especially after that nice long move. This thing is in play and ready to go tomorrow. So make that a priority. Emerging markets, I should say. Collapsing dragon for 4R. Standard exit at the edge of the dragon. Ethereum setting up a sideways quiet channel, no trade. Mexico tried the Cata 2 to the downside, no follow through for about an R. That was actually better than I thought because the risk box was so small. The Cata 2 to the long side failed. It gave me a -1 execution R. That was a stop and reverse. Standard exit here. That was a revenge trade for 3R compared to a 1R loss. Nets 2R for the day. Just don't stay wrong too long. Intel. This was a Cata 2 for 1. IP tried the like a COTA 2 here, or actually an SSC, I should say. And it scratched, missed the short side trade on that altogether. That one was surprisingly bad in that middle section. It caught me by surprise. IYR scratched the yesterday's long, missed the short. Coke, yesterday's speculative long, scratched, waited for the collapsing dragon, basically scratched. Nothing there. Regional banks, 1R on the collapsing dragon. Mattel, 1, 2, 3R on the collapsing dragon. Dragon exit, boring. I mean, this is my favorite kind of day. It's absolutely boring. Collapsing dragon for 3R. Merck, no trade. Microsoft, covered the COTA 2 for no lose, plus enter for 2. Marijuana, half an R on the COTA 2. Nvidia, yesterday's COTA 2 covered for about 2R. Clean energy, yesterday's speculative short, or today's collapsing dragon short, I just took that. I missed the re-entry, which would have paid big. Misread the chart. Rivian, no trade, sideways quiet channel setting up. This was a range stat move, as we talked about at great length in the foundations course. We did a 90-minute session on foundations about execution risk versus position sizing risk, which I believe is worth the price of the entire course. It was that good. But that was a range stat move. And you don't see that every day. You see that about 1 out of every 6 days. That happened in 90 minutes. That will get your attention. Tesla, the COTA 2, or I'm sorry, the collapsing dragon short. I'm holding that one overnight. I just feel like there's more on the downside there, and this thing closed poorly. It was in this bar I was trying to decide to get out or not. I would not be offended if you got out right there, but it started to fail and I wanted to see. And I'm holding 2R on that risk, so, we'll see. I'm sorry, that was Treasuries. Did I say Tesla? I'm sorry, that was Treasuries. Yeah, the MMRB on Treasuries, because I've been burned on the gap so much, is that's $1, and the R10 is 15 cents. I'm playing it because of the distance to the PSAR. I'm just honoring the pattern. Tesla. That's a collapsing dragon short, covered with 1. And then U.S. Steel just exited the COTA 2 long for a fraction. Sniper trades of the day. So the blue box is the OR3. We are on a 3-minute chart. Standard short, standard risk box. Dragon exit for 1R. SSC entry. Half an R loss. Took the COTA 2 short at the PSAR flip, standard risk, for about a half an R gain. There wasn't much follow through. Collapsing dragon short in the lunch period. Second entry, 2R battle drill. missed the third entry, standard exit, stop and reverse on the SSC for 2 more R. That's what 7R looks like in Alcoa. This is a VWAP magnet trade. It had fallen so far from the VWAP that when they exit that position to protect the leverage, then a return to vicinity of the VWAP is not unusual. There were some other trades. This one is the S&P at lunchtime. I consider this a sniper trade of the day too. So this is the open, and it was kind of just monkeying around in this grind. And then I got the alert on the PSAR flip. It crossed, that's the middle of the river on the 30-period Bollinger Band. I got the alert when it crossed here. I got the alert when the RL30 crossed the river. I got the alert when the VWAP hit. I got the alert when the collapsing dragon hit. I took that entry with a standard risk to the PSAR flip. When this failed, that was around 2R. Added the 2R battle drill. R10 reverses. Dragon exit. SSC entry. PSAR exit for 2. And that's worth 5 between those 2 entries. So that's what a 7R move, that's a range stat move in the S&P, all triggered by alerts with TC2000. So I have, between 30 and 60 symbols in my watch list, and just a whole series of alerts. When the alerts hit, I open that chart is open over here. I look at it, watch it, and stalk it. When I'm executing, I open it up so it's larger, so I can execute on either the 3-minute or the 30-minute. Just sort of a routine. This is one from the open. This one was in Dish Network. This is the open. This sell-off was among the worst things in the whole stack. And then I get the alert when that's a harsh winter. Winter turns to spring. RL10 crosses the track. That's an SSC alert all day. That's a standard risk. When it moved up this far, I jump my stop to here, and I lock in no lose plus dinner for 2, and I leave it alone. It starts doing this. At the doji, I tighten up to here in case it fails. It didn't. It did this. As that goes running up, I raise my stop to the low of the bars. It gets halfway up, comes down. I take that exit on 1 unit of risk. That's 2R. Standard work off an SSC, off an alert in TC2000. I got 60 symbols in that stack, and when they alert me on these components of the SSC, I just look at the screen and I can make that decision in 2 seconds. Our programmer for TC2000 is Danny. He's an Israeli hedge fund manager. He and his family are alive and well. They confirm the reports of atrocities in Israel. He's safe. I was worried about him. So here's what happens in Mattel. Another sniper trade of the day. So here's the open. This was one of the largest gaps, and that sell-off was one of the worst performers. It had collapsed well below all of this, so get the alert for big gap, collapsing dragon, move the risk box off of that, frame the trade short, get my risk out, execute, 3R. I think of that as it's entering the station. Look how it went from harsh winter to slow winter to spring into the Red River, out with 3R. That's my standard list of tradables just from the hybrid workshop. There's about 30. I don't know if there's 30. How many of them are there? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess there is 30. Yeah, that's about 30 symbols. I sort it by percent change. This one, I was happy. It was the worst performer in the stack, and it was coming into the station. That's the easiest no-brainer exit ever. I know what to do if it fails below the low of the day. I'm going to get back in. Why? Because the range stat is $1.63, and that thing can go down to $19.30 if it moves a range stat from here to the low of the day. That's about half a range stat. There's another whole leg ready, so if that fails, I'll just get back in. This one is in real estate. There's the S&P. Real estate was failing. Where is he? IYR. Real estate was failing. So it's halfway down. It's halfway to the bottom when it was opening, and then it reversed entry. So when it did this, it was right there. So I went and looked at it and said, "Oh, I can get short on that." And then it reversed. So I'm already stalking it. I just wait till it PSR flips, and there's an SSC, and then when it moves up this far, I raise my stop to here. It keeps moving, I'm here. When it gets above the VWAP and above the R10, add the second position. I just keep raising my stop until this hits. That thing came all the way back to here in the next 30 minutes. And that returned 5R intraday. Simply, and that's what this move here, that's what it looked like on the 30-minute bar. I get it because of the alert that happened in here. And the reversal tells me it's time to stalk for the SSC. You see, oh, that's a drawing. All right, that's enough of that. The traders. Let's see what we got here. He notices this. He waits for the COTA 2. Gets paid 0.7. That was a valid trade. That would have stayed in all the way up here. Gets the second COTA 2. It's a little late. It's actually an emerging dragon, but that's still fine. 1.25 for the day on that one. And that's not even getting the trading the rest of the day. Just grinding along. Collapsing dragon, second position, takes the exit for 4R. SSC for 1.1. That's 5.3. That's in hogs. That's what fractal patterns do. They work everywhere humans are trading markets. Because it is the psychology. So he gets collapsing dragon, he gets paid for 0.5. This should have entered here. This is late. I think you want to get out in here, but that's not bad. Minus 0.7. Reasonable short. That's fine. Oh. Brian. Set alerts. Have them wake you up. Lou in Apple. Make me change my color scheme here. OR3, 1, 2, 3R. Long, manage the risk, out, 3R. Oh. VWAP collapse. Oh. Caught a 2. Caught a 2. This would be a pocket entry. That would be a collapsing dragon. Yummy. Smash it. Supported winter crossing. Perfectly played. And it gets right to the base of the RL10. Perfect. 2.5R. Lou for the win. This is reasonable. This looks like George. Collapsing dragon. Covers. Tries a re-entry. Quick cut. That's reasonable. Still working. That's a re-entry. And then you get this. Especially when that breaks below here. Perfect. Mark doing a nice job. Let's see. I haven't had a chance to read all this. I like it. Correct. That's a Z3 pinch. Perfect. That's the foundations. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yep. 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 Don't try to abide by rules. Let's just simplify, say, abide by the rules. Count them later. Yep. Yep. All good. You already feel better. Now let's see. Now use that, set that up as a checklist in a spreadsheet. Each one of those is a rule. And then you say, okay, so there's the rule. Actually set it up this way. Rule number, whatever. You know, there's sort of like a plan, prepare, execute, assess. Make one of your rules. I assessed according to this checklist. And then you just set this up for the days of the week. And then on each one of those, you go down that list and you say, did I do that? Yes. Green dot, green dot, green dot. Oh, I didn't do that one. Maybe there's a red dot. So I got on my after action review, I got to fix that. And then tomorrow I better have fixed it. And what's my action plan to fix this thing tomorrow, since it's a matter of will to just do that? That's the next step. When the VWAP cracks and it's below the collapsing dragon, you can take that. That's an entry. And that's really where the Z3 pinch was. But that's excellent. That's a great exit. I like it. I like this one. That's a stop and reverse. That's a fake one, go to. And then there's my collapsing dragon. Where am I? Still, that's okay. Put your total sum for the day on the, total, there you go, two, good. Stuck around too long on this one. It didn't even get to the PSAR. That's supposed to be. Not only should I be out here, I should be short here. Not bad. Good. Short. Good. Second position, I like it. Good. I think I can be short here. I think you may have been. Yeah. Good second position. Good cover. Good cover. That's good. Let's see here. So, Sean, the same standard for being ready to trade is that take a look at Mark's workup. That's pretty good. There's my OR3. I could be short here. There's a collapsing dragon. There's a Kata 2. I don't mind that one. I like this. I might have tried to even get short here and then covered and get long on the Kata 2. Certainly Kata 2 there. Certainly collapsing dragon there when it breaks below here. And when this rejects the VWAP, that is a tell. And then when this rolls over, you can actually think about getting short here. And then that's an SSC for massive goodies. So today was we got to be ready for that low of the day, and then a range stat move. Wow. Reasonable, and same. See previous comments. That's the same pattern. That break. Now you know what a range stat move looks like, and you'll be ready for it. I love that trade. Collapsing dragon, new low of the day in the euro. They just trade smoother. There's another one in here at this moment, if you're still in the market, when the Z3 pinch occurs, and then there's your breakdown. That's not unusual. Reasonable. There's a re-entry that's still valid. It didn't even break through the PSAR. That's still valid. And then on Intel, as part of that whole break of the P, when the VWAP breaks intraday, we got to be able to see that the S&P, the tech sector was collapsing, XLK, and then Intel. That we even talked about that as a logic chain, that failure, 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 and that's a huge follow through. And that's how small your risk box is. So if you can get short there, that's like 10 minutes from the time that it broke to the time that you can still enter. And then that gives you something like maybe even a 6-hour trade down there. Reasonable. Good work, fellas. I'm gonna call it there tonight. We had a long session. Today was a range stat day. Start with the indexes tomorrow. It's very vulnerable to failure, so we got to be ready for that. We'll get this published and posted. Give you time to prep. Take good care. We'll catch you tomorrow.